This is second lecture of module 3, implementation fabrics. In this lecture we shall study programmable logic devices or PLDs. PLDs can be programmed after manufacturing process to perform different functions. This feature is not available in SSI, MSI ICs and ASICs. SSI, MSI ICs and ASICs are fixed function ICs. Once they are manufactured, we cannot alter the function of these ICs. PLDs have higher unit cost than ASIC, but the NRE cost of PLDs is less compared to ASIC. PLDs are ideal for low to medium product volumes. The first successful PLD families was Programmable Array Logic, PALs. This was introduced by a company called Monolithic Memories in 1970s. The basic concept of this PAL is to program it using a special programming instrument. This special programming instrument makes or breaks something called as fusible links or fuses. Let us study an example PAL, which is PAL 16L8. This is the structure or architecture of PAL 16L8. Here there are three kinds of pins. One are only inputs, second one only outputs, third one both bidirectional IO pins. In this diagram, I2, I3, I8, I9, I10, I1 are examples of only input pins. O1, O8 are examples of only output pins. IO2, IO7 are examples of bidirectional input-output pins. 10 input pins along with 6 bidirectional IO pins form 16 inputs, hence the number 16 in the name. Bidirectional 6 IO pins along with only 2 output pins gives 8 outputs, hence the number 8 in the name. So totally this architecture is having 10 only input pins, 2 only output pins and 6 bidirectional IO pins. At the input pins you can observe we have a buffer. This buffer will give not only the literal, also the complement of the literal. For example, this buffer gives I2 as well as I2 bar. Similarly, this gives I3 and I3 bar and so on. If you observe the output pins, at the output you find tri-state driver, and this bubble at the output tri-state driver indicates that outputs are active low. The tri-state buffers at the outputs are controlled by a control signal, which is nothing but an AND product or product term. In this structure, the grid enclosed within this dotted line is programmable part. So this grid has 32 vertical lines, 64 horizontal lines. The vertical lines are nothing but connected to the input buffers. For example, line 0 and 1 are connected to input buffer which takes input from I2. So line 0 is I2, line 1 is I2 bar. Similarly, line 2 and 3 are I1 and I1 bar respectively. Similarly, the remaining vertical lines are connected to either literals or the complement of literals. As there are 32 vertical lines, we can have 16 literals and 16 complements of literals. The horizontal lines represent the product term. At the end of each horizontal line, there is an AND gate which represents that a product term is formed for each horizontal line. At the output port of one structure, we have a OR gate which combines all the product terms to form a sum of product expression. In the unprogrammed state, there will be something called as fuses, which are represented by this X mark. These fuses will be present at each intersection of a vertical and horizontal line. Once this structure is programmed, once this device is programmed using programmable instrument, special programming instrument, it will blow off some of the fuses according to the function to be implemented. Therefore, the intersections where the fuses are present are connected, that is the vertical and horizontal lines are connected. The intersections where fuses are absent, they are not connected. The vertical and horizontal lines are not connected with each other. In this structure, there are fuses in the first horizontal line, that is horizontal line 0. We have fuses at line number 24 and line number 31. So this part will implement I8.I10 bar. You can see vertical line 24 is nothing but I8. Hence it is connected to the input buffer, which takes input from I8. So vertical line 24 is I8. Similarly, vertical line 31 is I10 bar. So the product term is I8.I10 bar. This controls the control signal of this tri-state buffer. If this control signal is active, tri-state buffer will produce the output, which is nothing but the output of this OR gate in SOP expression. If this control function is not active, then this tri-state buffer output will be at high impedance, that is Z. You can see horizontal line 1, where vertical line 0 and vertical line 2 are having fuses. So this will implement the product term I1.I2. Similarly, you can observe the horizontal line 2, where vertical lines 4 and 31 are having fuses, which will implement I3.I10 bar. So at the output of this OR gate, we get I1.I2 plus I3.I10 bar. At the output of this tri-state driver, we get this complete function, which is I1.I2 plus I3.I10 bar whole bar. So here you can implement AND or invert type of functions using this PAL16L8. One thing what we can observe here is, using this structure, using the available resources of this device, we can implement combinational functions. Easily we can implement combinational functions. To implement sequential functions, we require some of the sequential elements as resources. Such type of elements are not present in PAL16L8. So the advanced version of this PAL16L8, which is PAL-R8, consists of registers at this point. Using the registers, we can implement sequential circuits like FSMs. So this diagram shows the output circuit part of PAL16R8, which is a variant of PAL16L8 of the previous slide. Here you can observe there is a register which is made up of D flip-flops at the output of OR gate. The output of register is connected to the tri-state buffer or tri-state output driver. Using this register, we can provide feedback. As you can see in this diagram, we can provide feedback to the AND array. This feedback is helpful in implementing sequential circuits like FSMs. Designing with the PALs. Designing with PALs has a simple procedure. First, we need to describe the function to be implemented using Boolean expressions. Usually these Boolean expressions are implemented using any HDL or else a language like ABEL. After implementing these Boolean equations, they are synthesized and a file called as fuse map file is generated. This fuse map file will be used by the programming instrument to retain or to remove the fuses. If the design does not fit in a single PAL, what we can do is we can partition our complete design into number of parts, and one part can be implemented in one PAL. Hence we require multiple PALs to implement a given function if it doesn't fit inside a single PAL. Or else what we can do is we can use an alternate PLD which is more complex than the PAL. The advantage of using PAL is you can implement not only complex functions but also you can implement simpler circuits, and this PAL acts like a single package solution, hence it lowers the cost. Next topic is generic array logic. Generic array logic or GAL is advancement of PAL. This is the general structure or architecture of one of the GALs. This is architecture of this device GAL22V10. Here you can observe the programmable AND array or the grid is still present, and we have the input buffers. Each buffer can produce the input, also the complement of the input. What we have extra here is OLMC. This OLMC is nothing but the combination of OR gate, the D flip-flop or register, and the output tri-state driver. Here we can see the expansion of single OLMC or output logic macro cell. Here we can see we have some parts which are there in PAL. The first part is OR gate. This OR gate combines the outputs of the AND array. The output of OR gate is fed to a register which is made up of D flip-flop. The output of register is fed to a multiplexer, and then the output of multiplexer is fed to the output tri-state driver. Here we have two multiplexers. This is called as output multiplexer. This is called as input multiplexer. These two multiplexers are also programmable along with the programming feature of this AND array. As we know in PAL, this AND array is programmable. In this case in GAL, along with AND array, these two multiplexers are also programmable. In this D register, this SP stands for synchronous preset. AR stands for asynchronous reset. Synchronous preset means this is under control of clock. If there is rising edge of clock, if this line is high, it will make the output high. That is the meaning of preset. Preset will make the output Q high. Asynchronous reset means this is not under control of clock. If this asynchronous reset is activated, it will make the output of this register 0. Using this output multiplexer, what we can do is we can provide combinational output. That is, output of this OR gate can be directly made available to the output tri-state driver, or else we can make registered output. Registered output means the output of OR gate can be fed to this register first. The output of this register can be fed to the tri-state driver. That is the function of this multiplexer, output multiplexer. Input multiplexer, this is used to provide feedback. Here we can provide registered feedback, or else we can provide the combinational feedback. Again, with the association of this output multiplexer and the tri-state driver, we can provide the combinational feedback. Combinational feedback means the output of this OR gate can be directly fed back to the AND array through this multiplexer and this input buffer. If this output tri-state driver is not active, then this pin can be used as input pin. You can apply the input value through the input pin directly through this line, and you can make that input signal to be applied to the AND array. Next topic is complex programmable logic devices or CPLDs. CPLD is essentially combination of multiple PALs. This is the typical structure of a CPLD. In this structure, what we can see is we have an interconnection network. Through this interconnection network, multiple PALs will interact with each other. This boxed diagram, this is one PAL. this is one more PAL, and so on. We have multiple PALs. All PALs will interact with each other with the help of this interconnection network. Each PAL will have the same structure as we have discussed for PAL 16L8. It will have an AND gate array, which is nothing but a grid of horizontal and vertical lines, where each vertical line represents the literal and also the complement of literal, whereas each horizontal line represents an product term. Next we have macro cell. Macro cell is an expanded version of output logic macro cell, what we discussed for GAL 22V10. The only difference between this macro cell and OLMC is directly connected to the output tri-state driver. Here in this case, macro cell is not directly connected to the output pin. It is connected to the output pin through this IO block. Here this IO block is programmable one. We can configure this to provide a registered output, registered non-registered output, or combinational output, and also we can make this output pins to support different voltage levels like TTL and CMOS also. Nowadays this complex programmable logic devices make use of flash RAM to store the configuration bits. Once the power is turned on, the configuration bits from the flash RAM are transferred to the RAM parts which hold the configuration bits. Through this configuration bits we can configure the multiplexers of macro cell, and also we can configure the AND gate array, and also we can program the IO block. Next is FPGA. FPGA stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. FPGA consists of three main blocks. The first one is IO block, next is logic block, next one is RAM, and one more is the shaded part, which is called as programmable interconnect. This logic block implements the actual function to be implemented. For example, if we want to implement a full ladder or a parallel ladder, the actual logic of full ladder or parallel ladder will be implemented by the logic block. Each logic block is connected with the help of programmable interconnect. RAM cells hold the configuration bits and also the data to be processed. IO blocks are also programmable. The IO blocks can work like registered IOs, unregistered IOs, or combinational IOs, and also they can support different logic levels like TTL, CMOS, etc. This is the structure or architecture of a typical logic block. This is the architecture of logic block of Spartan 2. So this is a single slice. In this slice we have two parts. In each part we have something called as a lookup table. A lookup table is nothing but an asynchronous RAM where there are locations of 1 bit wide. This lookup table is just like a combinational ROM. What it does is it accepts a 4-bit data as input. This data is nothing but address for the 1-bit locations. The data stored in the 1-bit location is applied to the output according to the address applied. Using this lookup table we can implement any function which has 4 variables. The output of lookup table is applied to carry and control logic. This carry and control logic consists of combinational component which combines the output of lookup table. Along with that it also consists of XOR gates, AND gates to implement adders, multipliers, and also multiplexers for fast carry chain. At the output of this carry and control logic we have a register implemented by D flip-flop. Hence through this register we can obtain the registered output, or else through this carry and control logic we can obtain the unregistered output, and also we can obtain the complement of unregistered output. that is YB. YB represents the complement of unregistered output. Y represents the unregistered output. YQ represents the registered output. Similarly, the second lookup table can also implement a function which has 4 variables, and this carry and control logic will also work in the same way what I described for this block. In the same way this will work, and this register made up of D flip-flop can provide the registered output XQ. XQ represents the registered output, X represents unregistered output, XB represents complement of unregistered output. Here X and Y are two different functions which are implemented by a single slice of one logic block of Spartan 2. So this logic block is capable of implementing two functions which have 4 variables. Next is IO blocks. So this is the diagram of a typical IO block architecture. In this we can see the 3 parts. The first part, which has register and multiplexer, this first part controls this output tri-state driver. This register and the multiplexer, these two are directly connected to the output from the logic block. So the output from logic block can flow through this multiplexer as unregistered output or a combinational output, or else it can flow through this register of D flip-flop and through this multiplexer to form a registered output. At the same time, using this register, if this tri-state driver is inactive, we can accept the input from the same pin. This is example of bidirectional IO. If this tri-state driver is inactive, we can use the same line as input pin. Through this input buffer, we can accept the input directly, or else we can feed the input from this input pin to this register, and we can take the output of this registered as registered input. Along with this kind of programming feature, this also has the feature to accept or compatible with different voltage levels like TTL. So we can program this IO block to support TTL logic and CMOS logic and etc. This feature is not available in the generic array logic and PALs. And also we can program this IO block to produce different slew rate and input thresholds. The next concept is platform FPGA. Platform FPGA is a FPGA with some additional resources. The additional resources are processor cores, signal processing arithmetic cores, network interface cores. Using these additional resources, we can implement special functions like high rate video processing. The embedded software required for the processor core can run on SRAM in FPGA. As we know, FPGA consists of SRAM blocks. So the embedded software which is needed for the processor core can run on the SRAM available in FPGA. So this type of platform FPGA works like a single chip solution for complex applications, hence it reduces the cost. This also avoids the high NRE cost of ASIC. If we want to develop ASIC for a special application, then the NRE cost of that ASIC will be more compared to the platform FPGA. Next concept is structured ASICs. Structured ASIC is a midway between FPGA, that is PLDs, and standard cell ASICs. So this structured ASICs like FPGA is collection of some resources. Here the resources are simple logic elements which are again combination of multiple transistors. The one difference of this structured ASIC with FPGA is this is not programmable. What we can do here is we can perform some customization using the available transistors. We can perform customization by altering the top metal interconnection. By making this top metal interconnection, we can implement the required logic circuit using the available transistors. Such type of structured ASICs have low NRE cost than standard cell ASIC design. The performance of structured ASIC will be similar or close to standard cell ASIC. This type of structured ASIC is suitable for mid-volume applications. Finally, to summarize in this video, we have studied different programmable logic devices. First, we have started with programmable array logic, which was the first successful PLDs. In this PALs, we have studied PAL16L8 as an illustration. We have also studied PAL16R8, which is a variant of PAL16L8. Using this PAL-R8, we can implement sequential circuits like FSMs. We have seen generic array logic, which is an improvement of PAL. We have studied complex programmable logic devices, which is again improvement of GAL. This CPLD, or a complex programmable logic device, is collection of multiple PALs. Next, we have studied FPGA, field programmable gate arrays. We have studied the main logic block of this FPGA, which consists of lookup tables. We have also studied the IO blocks of FPGA. We have studied something called as platform FPGA, which have additional resources like processor cores, signal processing arithmetic units, network interface cores, etc. Next, we have studied structured ASIC, which is a modification of ASIC, where we have a pool of logic elements which are made up of transistors. We can connect these transistors by some metal interconnection, and we can implement the required function. Thank you.